So welcome, guys. How are you all? Everyone's coming off the back of off-season now. Olav, I know you've been injured. So how's your recovery been from that injury?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, it's never nice to go into the off-season with an injury, but yeah, it was good to call it a day in the end and just make sure the problems with the knee were gone. So yeah, small surgery helped the problem, and now I'm back on the bike without any problems. So that's good.
Good to hear. And Pfeiffer, same for you. I know you've had that terrible crash at the end of the Tour de France, which left you off the bike for quite some time. How's the recovery from that been? Have you managed to get back riding again yet?
Yeah, also been a little bit broken this off-season. Yeah, I've had 3 months off, and just the last 2 days I've been back on the road, which has been so nice. Because yeah, it's been quite a long process. But yeah, I'm just happy that I'm healed and can get back into training.
And then, any stories from your off-season, or has it been quite a chill one?
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty standard cyclist off-season, to be honest. A few holidays and yeah, no time on the bike.
Lovely. And we've kind of brought all of you together on this panel because you're all very similar ages and you're all kind of at similar points in your careers, at different points in your development, but I think you're all kind of going towards taking that next step to be really consistent winners. And Pfeiffer, I want to start with you because you've had an incredible season, and I think probably the highlight for a lot of people was your Classics season. Your Classics campaign was incredibly consistent. It was really impressive. And I think Paris-Roubaix Femme, for me, really stands out, you coming third at that race. Can you talk a little bit about that at the start of the season? How do you reflect on that now?
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight of yeah, my season and my career. And I wanted it so badly and just gave everything to the line. And yeah, everyone was saying that I was fourth, so I was really disappointed initially. And then I saw on the board that it came up as third, and I just started crying.
What did it mean to you to finish third at this race specifically? I guess what it kind of represents that the women's peloton now have a Paris-Roubaix. How did it feel for you, having maybe watched this race growing up and never really known if you would get the chance to compete in it?
Yeah, I've always watched the men's version, and yeah, always watch it start to finish. I think it's so exciting. It's yeah, one of the most exciting, tough, yeah, challenging, dangerous, unpredictable races, and I've always dreamt of being able to do it, and I think for me it is a real dream race to win. So to get on the podium, it felt like a step getting closer to my dream, and yeah, for me it was also a bit unexpected to step up this year, so it just really meant a lot.
Mm-hmm. And Olav, you also opened your season really successfully. You had wins at the UAE Tour, at Paris-Nice. Can you talk a little bit about that period? Did you expect to have that success so early on?
Yeah, I felt that I made another step in the winter. So yeah, then it's always nice to see it back in results already in the beginning of the season. So yeah, that's good to get the confidence in the first races and take it with you throughout the season. So yeah, it was good to get some nice wins early on, especially yeah, in the UAE Tour and Paris-Nice WorldTour level. Against some really good riders, so yeah, those are the wins. Yeah, I was looking for in the spring. So yeah, I was really happy with those wins.
Mm-hmm. And how much did it mean to you, I guess, to have the support of a team like Visma Lease Bike behind you and sort of racing for you as a sprinter when you're still so young, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've always. I mean, I started in development team, so yeah, we started. Yeah, when I was still very young, but yeah, we made steps every year, and then they also believed in me and supported me. So yeah, it's really nice to also get that support in the bigger races now, and yeah, combining goals also in Paris-Nice, for example, with Matteo, who won GC, and in the end we won 2 stages. So yeah, I think it's a really great team to be in, and yeah, striving for the best also in different areas of racing in sprints and GC.
And I guess they really showed their belief in you by taking you to a Grand Tour this season as well at the Giro d'Italia, where you did win a stage. How did that feel? How was that experience for you, winning a Giro stage? And yeah, what was the sprinting field like there compared to the UAE Tour, for example?
Yeah, of course. I mean, UAE is a special race. You cannot compare it to Europe, but yeah, I was really happy to go to the Giro, and we were really aiming for that stage win, and maybe with a bit of a younger team with Kian for GC and myself for the sprints. I think the Napoli stage was really, especially those last meters when it all came together was really special. I think, it was really up and down into the city. Really quite a tough final, and in the end, just made it in time. Yeah.
Did you know that you'd won when you crossed the line straight away? You had the feeling?
Yeah. I knew it directly. I mean, not the biggest margin, but most of the time you can feel it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Ben, obviously the Giro d'Italia, since we're talking about that race, it's got really special memories for you as well with your stage win there last year. Can you talk a little bit about winning that stage and what it meant for you to win a Grand Tour stage?
Yeah, I mean, that was just the really big focus for that year, you know, and I knew this was a stage that really suited me well, and it was a tough fight to get into the break that day. It just seemed to go on forever, but there was 4 of us out front to start with, and I could feel that I had good legs, and it just all worked out. And going into this final, I had good legs on the first time we hit this climb, and I just wanted to try and thin the group out a little bit, and then I went solo, and just had the legs to finish it off, and it was just a super special victory. And I feel like after the Ardennes that year as well, it just really put me on the scene and gave me a lot of belief and confidence in myself to keep on performing like this.
And you're always so aggressive in these breakaways in Grand Tours. Is that something you plan like ahead of time? Do you look at what stages you think suit you and decide which ones you're going to go for?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think there's definitely a profile that fits me, and I always look for those. And the fact I can't sprint kind of makes me play one card, and sometimes it's really frustrating. But at the same time, you're never guessing about what I have to do, and I just have to think about the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm. How challenging is it to get in the right move? Because I think, especially this year in Grand Tours, we're seeing that breakaway formation phase. It looks like it's taking longer than ever, and we saw it at the Tour de France this year especially, which you were competing in. How hard is it to find the right moves and make sure you kind of get in the one that the winning move, I guess? Yeah,
I mean, I'm still figuring that out for myself, I think. I'm not the best at it, and I'm really trying to learn, and I've done 2 Grand Tours now, and really trying to go back and look at the mistakes that I made and how I can improve, because there's for sure a lot of energy there that I can save. I just honestly at the Tour I just didn't expect it to just go on for so long, and the fight was just relentless, and really in the end a lot of the time what it came down to is who had the legs left to still attack, and unfortunately then UAE had the legs to then control the stage because it went on for so long, and it's chance in your arm and hoping it goes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And I think, Olav, we touched on it before about how important it is to have a team support around you, and you mentioned that you've been in the Visma development team. And how important do you think it was for you to spend those years in the Visma development team, especially when you're a young rider? I guess it's really important to make the right decisions about which team you go to.
Yeah, I mean, when you come from juniors, it's way different than. Then you're just happy to come into the right structure. I mean, for me at the time was Jumbo, so I've only spent 1 year or 1.5 in the development team, but still those were very, very useful for months. And I think you just learn living as a pro, training as a pro. Also, the racing style is way different than in the younger categories. So. I think those things are really important to take with you, and also when you're near pro, you still need to learn a lot. But I think having a good structure around you with the right support really helps young riders.
And Pfeiffer, I'm interested to hear from you on that as well, because I think Team DSM, it's known for being really good at developing young riders, and obviously you signed for that team at a really young age, and you've kind of gone through your career with them. Why has that structure worked for you, do you think?
Yeah, I joined straight out of junior, so I've done 6 seasons with them now. And I think they really focused on just growing and developing in your own time. I think with me personally, they never rushed that development. And with any crashes or any setbacks, it was never like, you need to come back as quick as possible to renew your contract. I think they had faith in me and saw me developing into a classics rider. For the first 2-3 years, I was just being support, and then I kind of found that the classics was where I was stronger, and I was also valuable in the lead out. And then they started giving me opportunities as a road captain. So that was a really nice step for me. And then, yeah, the last 2 seasons I've had opportunities as a leader in the classics, and particularly this year, then yeah, more of a focus as a leader, which has been really nice. So I think compared to other people, it's maybe a bit slower, but like for me, I've really enjoyed the process, and I think I've learned so much through it.
And Ben, you had, I guess, a bit of a different pathway in that you weren't part of the development team of the team you're on now, but can you talk a little bit about how you got to EF Education and why you chose that team, and what was the steps that you took to kind of get there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it starts coming out of juniors, and then I was really desperate just to find a team to go race abroad, and I really struggled for that. And Wiggins kind of threw me the rope, and yeah, they gave me that opportunity, and I managed to prove myself pretty quickly, I think. And then then I went on to Trinity, and that was just then the COVID hit, so it was a bit of a struggle, like under 23, I guess, but thankfully I was able to prove myself, like I said, in my first year, and and I learned so much just being under 23, and you see so many guys now go straight into the World Tour, and I'm super glad I did those years, because I think that made me the bike rider I am today, and I don't really know how I would have done it if I'd just gone straight into the World Tour. I think it would have been a really big step, and I'm still learning now, you know. I mean, even my first year pro as well, I was still learning so much, and that, I think all those years combined is really why I was able to do what I did last year, and kind of do those results and just put all that knowledge together, and it all paid off in the end. And yeah, I guess I'm still learning now.
And Olav, would you kind of agree with that the under 23 category is really crucial? Obviously, you said you spent a year and a half in there. What do you think it's really important? Because we are seeing more riders going straight into the World Tour now.
Yeah, I think when I became under 23, COVID hit, so I really didn't do much under 23 racing. But I think for every rider it has its own path. I think like Ben said, and you just need to look what fits into your development, and also no need to rush. I mean, also for the young guys, I think going to the pros can be quite a big step, and then maybe better to really be ready for it and spend some more time in under 23.
Mm-hmm. And Pfeiffer, I guess it's really different on the women's side in that there isn't like an established under 23 series at the moment, but we are seeing the Tour l'Avenir for women and also the under 23 World Championships for the first time next year. From your perspective that you have now, how important do you think that is for the development of the women's side of the sport?
Yeah, I think traditionally the jump up hasn't been as big as the men's, but I think now you see the professionalism of women's cycling is just growing. I think the level is getting higher and higher each year. It's getting harder to win. And then I think having that under 23 category is a nice stepping stone for junior girls who may not have anywhere else to go, and having their own opportunities for success, and a small stepping stone into the World Tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And we've kind of spoken about how you guys are all on really big teams, but you're all winning at quite young ages. I guess so much of it comes from your teams kind of empowering you and giving you those opportunities. Olav, I would say on Visma Lease bike especially, there are so many riders who can win. How hard has it been to kind of fight for your own chances on that team?
I mean, I think it's different than it used to be. Like maybe, back in the days it was really a case of you start as a domestique, and then later on in your career, once you're a bit older, then you might become a leader. But I think nowadays in cycling they just look at the potential, and if it's there and they think you can win the races, they will also support you straight away. So I think for me, once I became pro, I think I didn't do much. I didn't get much bottles, but or I just was a sprinter and also leader most of the time directly. Yeah,
we're just watching there you being led out by Wout van Aert at the Tour of Britain, where I think you won 4 stages last season. What's it like riding with someone like Van Aert and having him lead you out? What's he like as a person?
Yeah, I mean it's great to race with Wout. I mean such a big champion, and also the qualities he has is it's unbelievable. It brings really something extra to race with him, and and the whole team there in Tour of Britain was a special week. I mean winning so many stages in GC. I also talked with Nathan about it just when we got here. Like yeah, those are things you remember. Just a good group of guys and winning together and having a good time and yeah, just trying to perform as good as we can.
And Ben, what about you on EF education? How is it to kind of, I guess, assert your chances? Do you have to put yourself forward for these stages and say that you're really targeting it to get your chances? How has the team supported you in going for your own results?
Yeah, I think my first year it was really, trying to figure out still what I was good at and where I could perform in races. And I think in a lot of ways I'm kind of unique and a rider that I haven't really had before. So it was still trying to like figure out exactly how is the best place to manage me, I guess. And yeah, I'm finding that groove now these past couple of years. And yeah, I mean, obviously I can go for the Ardennes and I can go to those as a leader. And then in the Grand Tours, it's yeah, we don't have normally that big GC guy. I mean, now we have Richie, but this year he wasn't at his best for the Tour. So yeah, that gave a lot of opportunities, and then the team kind of took it day by day, and just as the race unfolded, just see where the opportunities lie, and then we went for them.
And you're racing in this kind of era of, well, I think we can fairly say after this season it's the Tadej Pogacar era, and you've raced really kind of closely with him. Amstel Gold Race, for example, I think everyone remembers that chase when you were just behind him. What's it like racing with someone like him and kind of, I guess, trying to figure out how to beat someone who is that good?
Yeah, it's really quite annoying, to be honest. Like, what can you do? You say figure it out, but he's just that much better than everyone else. It's I don't think the best tactics in the world can beat him on his best day, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing to be able to say that you've been racing with probably one of the goats of the sport now. But yeah, we still want to win races and go to races in a position where we can believe that we can win, and it's becoming slimmer and slimmer at the moment. And yeah, it's hard, honestly. And yeah, he's as good as he is, and you've just got to deal with that and still work to be your best. And you never know, so you've just got to go in with that mindset, I think.
Mm-hmm. And Pfeiffer, I think like we're seeing a very different kind of shape to the women's side of the sport, where there really isn't one dominant rider. It's actually becoming more competitive than ever. Is that something that you're noticing as your career goes on, that there's more and more riders who kind of have the opportunities to win? Yeah, definitely. I think, like I was saying, as the professionalism increases, I think there's so many more riders at that top level. And yeah, especially heading into next year with a lot of transfers in teams, I think there's no one dominant team like we've seen in the last few years. So I think it definitely makes it nicer for us to race and more exciting to watch, because I think it's just unpredictable and there's no big dominant team controlling all day. And obviously next year we're seeing a women's Milan-San Remo for the first time. Are you excited to race that? Yeah, definitely. I think it won't be one for me to win. I think maybe the other girl in the picture there. But yeah, I think it's a monument for the men, and I think I'd love to see it being at least 200k, because I think typically our races are shorter. I think it'd be nice to have one longer event to kind of spice it up a bit. And Olav, you can kind of talk about the sprinting field from a perspective of being within the peloton. Obviously, we've seen riders like Mark Cavendish still able to win. I mean, he's won this season, but how are you seeing the kind of competitiveness among the sprinters? Is that getting harder, would you say?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, at this time there are quite a few guys who can win at WorldTour level, but yeah, I think there've always been competitive sprints, and I think with Kooij, it's really clear that, who's the best at some races, but sprints will always be small decisions who make a difference. So I think there will always be multiple guys able to win. So I think that those sprints will keep being exciting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting having both of you on stage together, because Pfeiffer, you've got a really interesting perspective as a lead-out woman for Charlotte Kool, and Olav, you're obviously used to being that kind of last rider. How important, Olav, is having a lead-out that you really trust? Yeah, I mean, trust is really important in a sprint. I think, how you move in a bunch, knowing each other, how you want to do the final in the last K, and knowing each other's qualities as well, talking through the final. I think those are, like I said, really crucial sprint. It's not things in a sprint. It's not just how hard you can push, but also how you play it in the final and making the right decisions in really hectic moments. So I think getting that dialed is it's a really hard thing, but it's even nicer when it all comes together.
And Pfeiffer, how do you train that? I mean, on DSM, you're kind of really well known for your amazingly drilled lead-out trains. How do you practice them? How much does that kind of take up of your off-season, of your winter?
Yeah, I think there's only so much you can do on training camp, like practicing the actual physical lead-out, because in a race it's completely different and there's so many different variables. I think having the trust and just having the knowledge of how the peloton moves and what a sprint finish is like is the most important. So I think we do a lot of analysis of our sprints afterwards. We watch it back and just dissect it, really. And this year we've had Healy come into our lead-out, so she's the last lead-out for Charlotte. Which I quite like, because then I do about the 1K to go mark, so it's more about kind of reading the peloton, judging, making space, and I don't actually have the explosivity to do a last lead out, so that suits me much better and I really enjoy it.
I think like the amazing thing about cycling, and you've all kind of mentioned that you're still learning and there's always more to kind of learn, and I guess Ben, I'm interested to hear, like, you've said a lot about how you still want to improve. Like, where do you see those improvements coming from? I mean, we're fifth at the Olympics, for example. You're so close to that kind of top level. How do you think that you make that next step? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the talks that I have quite often is, there's obviously a big gap in what I can do, which is like my explosivity in sprinting. But then there's always this balance of, if I really work towards that and really try to become better at sprinting, do I lose what I'm actually good at? And I think we're always on the cautious side of that, and so we really try and focus on what I'm actually good at still, and just refining that. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm sure if you've seen me sprint, you've seen that even against the worst guys, I'm probably still worse. So it's like, can you really, if I get to my best ability to sprint, am I still going to win those races in a sprint? It's a real hard toss-up. And I definitely want to refine that and still not become better than hopeless. But it's about focusing on what I'm good at still, I think, and really just trying to refine what I'm good at and being more efficient, and just keep on doing what I do. And then I really believe the results will come by doing that.
So when you talk about efficiency, I mean, everyone loves your racing style and you make it so entertaining to watch by attacking so much, but does being more efficient mean doing less of those attacks, or how do you kind of see that?
Yeah, I think just being smarter where I place my attacks and use my energy, and so I always have more in the final rather than just going full gas from the start and trying to hold on.
Mm-hmm. And Pfeiffer, for you, do you see any kind of improvements that you still need to make? What will you kind of be working on this winter, do you think?
Yeah, I think just getting better in general. I think to be the likes of Kooij. I think my sprint is something that I'm always working on. I think also climbing to kind of be competitive in races like Flanders. But lots of our races also come down to small groups. I think having that punch in the end is something that's really important. This winter is just really focusing on the classics again, and I think Roubaix will again be a big target because it's my favorite race.
And you'll be going into that race probably as the team's leader. Is that ever a pressure on your shoulders to kind of have to do that? And obviously, I haven't even mentioned the national championships, but we're looking at you win that race here, going in with the stripes as well. Like, does it ever get hard to deal with that kind of pressure?
Luckily for Roubaix, we go in with like 4 leaders because it's so unpredictable and you never know what's going to happen with punches or crashes. And actually, I think for the other classics, if I'm a sole leader, I've kind of got used to that, and I know that the girls will support me. And in the race next week, then I'll be riding for them. So it's kind of they support you, and then you go back in return. So I try to see it as more belief rather than feeling the pressure on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm. And Olav, what about you? Is there anything specific you're trying to improve on over the next few months, ready for next season?
No, I think we'll be just in general try to get make another step. I think that's always what you look for. I think maybe we'll see a few specific things, but to try and improve. But for me, where I need to make the difference will always be the sprint. So I think. Focus will always be on that, and also in training and during the winter, maybe some gym work, etc. But mostly in general, just try and improve.
Will there be like any specific lead-out practice you'll do with Visma Lease Bike? over the winter?
No, we don't really do much specific lead-out work on training camp. It's just too hard to you cannot stimulate the race. But we'll talk through some things and maybe how we want to make it work. But for the lead-outs itself, we will have to wait till the racing and try to get it right in the races.
And we're kind of almost coming to the end of this talk, but I want to ask each of you, what is your dream race to win and why? Like Ben, what race really stands out to you as like a really special one that's kind of on your bucket list before your career is over? Yeah,
I think Worlds, and I think a lot of people will emphasise with that because it's just, you get the band, it's one of the biggest races there is, and I mean, what's not to like, I guess.
What would you be hoping for out of a World Championship course that you think would be like perfect for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rwanda's pretty good for me, honestly, and it's just a long, hard race. That's what I'm really good at, a long, hard race and a decisive final, and that's what I'm best at.
Mm-hmm. And Pfeiffer, what about you? What would yours be?
Yeah, I'm going to copy your answer. World Champion, has always been my dream. And then since we got Roubaix, obviously Roubaix.
Yeah, of course. And for you, what would you want to see in a World Champs course?
I think, a classic style course, like the Flanders circuit we actually had a few years ago. That would be nice, like in a few years' time when I'm a bit older.
Mm-hmm. And Olav, you, dream race?
Yeah, I have to say Worlds as well.
Wow, okay. Everyone wants to win.
Surprise. Yeah.
So you'll be hoping for like a flat sprint?
Yeah, at least a sprint, yeah.
Would it be hard for you to kind of get an opportunity to be the leader at Worlds, given the talent kind of in the Dutch nation for sprinting?
Yeah, I mean, we never know. I think next few years there won't be a sprint, so hopefully we'll get a course that suits me during my career, and then hopefully I can be in the right shape and up there. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much. It was so interesting to talk to you all and hear all about your amazing careers so far. Otherwise, thank you everyone so much for listening. It was great. Thanks, guys.